Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me again, Jeneline A. Encargas, and I am a student teacher. So today, I am going to discuss the first two subtopics under Unit 2, Instructional Planning and Visual Arts. The first topic is all about instructional planning. Second is setting the objectives. But before we proceed to the main discussion, let me present to you first the learning objectives. So at the end of this lesson, pupils will be able to illustrate instructional planning and setting the objectives in visual arts, compare and contrast instructional planning and setting the objectives using Venn diagram, and reflect on the importance of teaching visual arts in elementary grades. Byron W. Hansford, Commission of Education, Colorado State Department of Education in the year 1964 states that art experiences are essential to the fullest development of youth at all levels of growth because they promote self-realization of the whole individual by integrating imaginative, creative, intellectual, and manual capacities. So schools need to develop a balanced school curriculum so as to provide an all-around education for their students. Arts education is one of the 5 essential areas in the overall aim of education set out by the Education Commission to enable every person to attain all-round development in the domains of ethics, intellect, physics, social skills, and aesthetics according to his or her own attributes so that he or she is capable of lifelong learning, critical and exploratory thinking, innovating, and adapting to change. So at this point, let us discover why visual arts. So all students have a desire, right, and ability to learn. Thus, schools must offer opportunities for all learners. School communities serve students from varied backgrounds and with previous experiences, knowledge, skills, abilities, perspectives, and beliefs. Visual arts education celebrates these diversities and differences. First is visual arts instruction needs to support students' unique voices, expressions, and learning types so they can examine and explore their own learning process and others' viewpoints through visual literacy. Second, visual arts education should also provide opportunities for students to investigate meanings and values that emerge from both individual and collaborative work. Visual art is life in itself. So it is vitally important to be taught in school as it helps learners to reflect critically on their own experiences and responses to the work of artists, craftspeople, and designers, and to develop their own arts knowledge. In addition, visual arts education should also provide opportunities for students to look into meanings and values that come up from both individual and collaborative work. So students become artistically literate in visual arts by creating artworks, responding to artworks, presenting artworks, and connecting to artworks. Now, let's talk about instructional planning. So, instructional planning is defined as the systematic selection of educational goals and objectives, and they are designed for use in the classroom. Moreover, instructional planning is also defined as a process of deciding what to teach and how to teach during the teaching and learning process. It includes not only planning what students will learn, but also how they will learn it. Instructional planning is also defined as first, visualizing. It is the ability of the educators to visualize future classroom. Another, guidance. It provides the type of roadmap or guide that assists in creating a flow of events that has a starting and ending point. Guidance is also the integration of guidance practices in a school context is based on a comprehensive and integrative view of educational practices. Next is managing. It is a way of managing time and events. So as we all know, teachers are the heart of the learning process. So they are the main resource of any education system and require specific management. So classroom management can be defined as the actions teachers take to establish and sustain an environment that fosters students' academic achievement as well as their social, emotional, and moral growth. And last is the decision making. So it allows one to make decisions about the hows and whats of teaching based on the three primary conditions. So first one is the student's prior learning experiences. Second, the content derived from curriculum guides, textbooks, and teacher developed materials. And third is the context and conditions on which the instruction will take place. So teaching is now defined as the process of making and implementing decisions before, during, and after instruction to increase the probability of students' learning. So now, why do you think planning of instruction is important? So the purpose of instructional planning is to ensure that teachers are adequately prepared to meet the educational goals of all students, including utilizing various tools to design comprehensive lesson plans that meet the curriculum objectives of institutions and their communities. Planning of instruction gives teachers the opportunity to think deliberately about their choice of lesson objectives, the types of activities that will meet these objectives, the sequence of those activities, the materials needed, how long each activity might take, and how students should be grouped. Arguably, the most important reason to plan is that it ensures your students' time in the classroom is worthwhile. As their teacher, you should tie all activities to specific learning objectives and connect your daily lessons to a long-term units. So when delivered with fidelity, well-planned instruction is designed to maximize academic learning time, actively engage learners in meaningful activities, and emphasize proactive and positive approaches across tiers of instructional intensity. Furthermore, effective lesson planning contributes to successful learning outcomes for students in several ways. So a well-designed lesson plan helps students and teachers understand the goals of an instructional module. It also allows the teachers to translate the curriculum into learning activities. Another one is that it aligns the instructional materials with the assessment, and it also helps assure that the needed instructional materials are available. And lastly is it enables the teachers to thoughtfully address individual learning needs among students. So at this juncture, let us proceed to building a visual arts lesson. So there are steps in building a visual arts lesson. Step 1 is generate learning objectives. First, generate the learning objectives or goals for your lesson. The more specific each objective is, the better. So each objective should describe a specific skill, map to a specific activity in the lesson, be measurable, and support one or more state of national standards. So set only 2 or 3 objectives for each lesson to keep students focused and reinforce skills. Step 2, identify activities to support your goals. So identify an activity that will teach the skills and concepts required to meet your objectives. So for example, students identify the elements of an art in painting. Step 3 is determine assessment criteria. So develop criteria that will help you know whether your students have achieved the learning objectives. So each assessment criterion should describe the results you expect from a student who has achieved the objective. So the assessment criteria should be easily measurable. Last step is this step 4. So write lesson steps. Fill in the details of the lesson steps that will teach the skills. So you now know exactly what your goals or your learning objectives are for the lessons and what kind of outcome you'll be expecting from your students' work or assessment criteria. And now let us proceed to setting the objectives. Overall aims of arts curriculum. So the arts education curriculum aims to help students develop creativity, critical thinking, and communication skills, and nurture aesthetic sensitivity and cultural awareness. Another is develop art skills, construct knowledge, and cultivate positive values and attitudes. Gain delight, enjoyment, and satisfaction through participating in arts activities, and last is pursue a lifelong interest in the arts. So why is teaching art important in elementary grades? So here is what we've learned through experience about why arts integration is so important. First is working in the arts helps learners to develop creative problem solving skills. Second, teaching through the arts can present difficult concepts visually, making them more easily to understand. Third, the arts provide challenges for learners at all levels. Fourth, art instruction helps children with the development of motor skills, language skills, social skills, decision-making, risk-taking, and inventiveness. Fifth, visual arts teach learners about color, layout, perspective, and balance, all techniques that are necessary for presentation of academic work. 6. Integrating art with other disciplines reaches students who might not otherwise be engaged in classwork. And 7 is art experiences boost critical thinking, teaching students to take the time to be more careful and thorough in how they observed the world. So that would be all for instructional planning and setting the objectives in visual arts. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.